Alright guys, how are you doing? Today is September 16th and it's not very good day for those that have the stock of Adobe because yesterday she pumped 16% quite in a sudden. I'm not saying the finance performance is bad, right? I think it's okay. Not very bad, not very good. But the thing is, she suddenly declared that she will bought the Figma with 20 billion US dollar. Then not scare me, but a little bit sudden, right? So I will discuss in detail in our Hong Kong channel because I'm still studying the finance report. But we will go into that in next screenshots, then in a short while, so you know how I think, right? And today we will talk about the Align technology, right? That means the teeth brace, right? And she performed it quite badly. Actually, we can say that because after the COVID-19 2020, then she wallet up. And then after 2022, just the beginning of this year, then she tumbles down. It's because of the inflation, right? Because of the inflation. And then the finance report, she just announced it is quite bad. It's very bad, right? It's just the upper half year. Then I think that if she cannot solve the inflation problem, that means the expense problem, then the whole year's result will also be bad, right? So we will discuss a little bit on that today, right? And you can see that our Falcon portfolio been dropped to 43% because of Adobe. Adobe cost us about 3 to 4% yesterday, dropped it, right? Okay, then for any subjects then you may want me to discuss, then you can leave your message under the YouTube, or you can directly email to me by Usstockmarketweekly@gmail.com. And this is our Falcon portfolio, and we should be at about 46 or 47, but because yesterday Adobe pumped it, right? It pumped it in a sudden, right? When just in the pre-market it pumped it already 7 to 8%. Then after the market then opened it, then it's 12%, then it's 15%, then finally is 16 to 17% pumped, right? So you can see that the performance is dropped by 12%, and we did not buy it at a very expensive price. Well, you can see that it's just 350, and the top is about the peak of the Adobe's stock price is about 700 US dollar. So this is our covering. Align technology is badly hit by the inflation, so we will go to that in a moment. Yesterday Dow Jones not performed very bad, right? Then we know that because now the putting up of the interest rate is coming, right, in September. Then we are guessing is 3/4 or 1%, or some even guessing predicting is more than 1%. Then we don't know, right? So actually the whole market is under shadow, so it's still dropped by 173. That is within our prediction. And Nasdaq the same, right? Dropped by 167 points yesterday. And we can compare the 10 years US 10-year Treasury yield, then 1 week before is P3.054, and then yesterday after closing 3.455%. So the market must perform bad. And two news to share with you. Actually, I just preparing to introduce the store capital in our Hong Kong channel, but fortunately or unfortunately, right? And GIC is a company from, is a fund from Singapore, and then with Oak Street, then yesterday they just declared they will buy store capital, right? Hold it, not just buy part of the stock, hold it, buy all the store capital, and then she will go private, right? In the deal value at 14 billion US dollar, the market cap now of store capital is about 7 point something billion. So the double is for the debts. You have to buy the asset as well as you have to buy the debts, right? So it's about 14 billion. That this is confirmed already, right? And then the store capital share price will jump about 20% to 32.5 in pre-market trading, right? So actually, all the shareholders should be happy. So unless you buy at the tip of 40 US dollar, right? If you just hold it for long, then you should be happy because the yield, right, very good yield, right, is 5.75%, right? And the price then immediate, you can see that jump to 32.12. Then just in the mind that you didn't earn anything in the stock price, then you earn every year about 4 to 5%, just like you own the property, right? That's already very good. But unfortunately, then it will go private. So no point to introduce anymore, right? Okay, then for Adobe pumps on earnings, and because she just declared it all in a sudden. I didn't learn about this news before. All in a sudden, then she will completely buy. There is one online drawing software company called Figma. Then she will buy this company, and then the acquisition value is 20 billion US dollar. Half of them is paid by cash, and then half of them is settled by stocks, or by shares, then divided into 4 years. And the focus from Adobe is then Figma. When she bought Figma, then it will give her a return, maybe in few years, about 116 point something billion. That means close to 20 billion. I think the market now is have a very rigorous reaction. It's because now is in a bad time, right? The time is bad, and then the money is big, right? I think she need to cut it into half, or if not, then she could wait. She could wait for Figma to reduce the price. Now, then for Adobe to buy Figma is a good time, but the money is not a good amount. The amount is not, it is too big, right? This is what I'm thinking, right? I will analyze this in detail in our Hong Kong page channel. Then we can see that Adobe's share price, right, is been dropped from the peak about 700 US dollar, and then dropped at more than half. And we bought it at 350, right? But it still dropped at more than that. But I think that yesterday the reaction of the market is quite overreacted, right? Overreacted. But the price then she pay is too much. This is what I initially think. Then I will need to examine the carefully on the finance report. Then I can give you more news. So pay attention to our Hong Kong page channel, YouTube looks, right? Okay, then we start the Allied Technology. This is for invisible, right? You can see that for the teeth brace, right? So if you look at Allied Technology stock price, then it is quite, after 2020, it rallies up to from lower than 200 and then to wow, more than 700. Then we all think that okay, very good for Allied Technology, but all in a sudden, nearly just go into the inflation time, then it drops nearly back to 2020's value, right? So it made a lot of investors quite disappointed, right? She got no dividend, and then the PE ratio is 32, still high right after the high dropping. If we take a look on other stock, AutoZone, right? We bought it at about 2020. When you look at also the 5-year stock history chart, you can see that since there's nothing happened. Only some of the people may suspicious, oh, for 2020, something happened, right? So look at the AutoZone stock chart. Seems nothing happened. And if you look at McDonald's, also seems nothing happened. In between, there's the inflation. Why? Because they can resist the inflation. That's why. And if we look at Home Depot, if you take out the tip at the end of 2021, and then you place a ruler on that, the normal price now, if no dropping, no increase, no putting up of the interest rate, then it's about 300, right? You can put a ruler on that. It's about 300, and then now just dropped it 10%. Not a big problem. Then what happened to Allied Technology? So the finance data we are going to announce, right, to analyze is for just announced that on August 4th. That means about 1.5 months before. And this is for the period ending in June. So if we take a look on the 10 years data of Allied Technology, you can see that actually the worthy time for the net income, is 2020. Right? You can see that for the total revenue increased gradually, nothing special, right? But you can see for the net income, it suddenly increased from 442 to 2020, 1,775, increased nearly 3 times. But then for 1 year before, it then back to normal, 772. And then from end of June, we wind back to 1 year before, is 619. Most probably is something like 800, something like that for the whole year, right? So the point is, if you buy at the top of the Allied Technology, you will lose a lot, right? It's because that year's net income is not making sense. Very obvious. So we take a look on the finance report for April, May, and June. And then we can compare with 1 year before the same period. And you can take the reference of half year in the right-hand row, right? We can see that the net revenue decreased by 4%. Not a lot. A lot of companies' revenue also decreased. Not a big problem, right? But you can see that the cost of net revenue increased by 11.5%. So immediately we can think that the net income must be dropping. Revenue drops and the cost of revenue increase. So eventually the net income dropped by 43.7%. Right? Eventually it dropped by nearly 50%. And if we look at the adjusted data, this is the comprehensive. Then we corrected for the currency, and then we corrected for the unrealized gains, like the investment, like the tax, and then the income dropped by 50%, right? So 2 things. First thing is the inflation, and the second thing is 1 year before. It's a little bit crazy on the stock price, right? We don't know why. So if we take a look and you have put some time to look at the figures, then you can immediately find out what I found out. You see that for the cash, marketable security, and the account receivable. When you add three items together and compare it with 1 year before, the money dropped by 11.4%. Those are monies. Cash. Marketable short-term securities, also money. Account receivable is money, right? It dropped by 11.4%. Not good. And then if you look at the inventory, oh my God, it rised by 34.78%. That's also money. And then if we examine the marketable security long term, but it dropped by 38%, right? And then if we look at the under column, the long-term liability increased by 9.77%. And then when everything added together, the finance is not as good as 1 year before. We can easily come to that conclusion, right? Then this is very simple, right? If we add up everything and then we examine the cash flow from doing the operation, that means by doing the operation or selling the invisible teeth brace, and then the cash provided by that dropped by 71.1% than 1 year before. It's quite bad. Is it due to competition or come to inflation? I think both of them, right? Because this is not a very high technology, my friend, right? Maybe at the early beginning, this is high technology, but not today, right? It's not like TSM, right? It's not like advanced micro device or NVIDIA. It's not very high technology. Some competitors will come out, and then you cannot put up the price easily. Otherwise, the customer will go, right? So this is for very clear distribution of the market funds, how much, and then the U.S. government treasury bonds, right, and then the long-term, short-term, something like that, right? Then you can find out this in the long-term asset, right? No problem, just to show you. So in a short summary, I have did it for you, right? I used the half year to project the 1 year, right? Revenue for the whole year, 3.884 billion, increased by 1.94%. But the net income is 0.494 billion, decreased by 38%. And the net income profit rate is 12%, right? And the cash equivalent is 1.9 billion. And the long-term debt is 0.19 billion. Actually, I don't think the company will broke, right? Because you can see that the long-term debt is very small, and the cash equivalent is okay to cover, right? So, but the point is that if she cannot improve anything on the inflation, and then the inventory, and then the liability, then it's not attractive. You can see that even the stock price dropped back to nearly no increment of 2020. The PE ratio still of 32.29. Not good, because you can see that the net income rate is a negative. That's still too expensive. I think it need to drop to about 20 PE ratio before the investor or the unit trust fund will have interest on that, right? So just hold it. But I don't think that it will broke, because actually the long-term debt is very small, right? This is my analysis. Okay, thanks for watching for short analyze. Then I hope you like this video. And then any comment, then you can leave under the YouTube. And please hit the subscribe button and then press the bell icon next to it. So whenever there is new video uploaded, then you will be immediately informed. Okay, today is Friday. I hope everyone have very peaceful weekend. See you next Friday. Bye bye.